Okay, I'm gonna make this thing, get it in Dearborn Heights, Michigan at a Mexican restaurant on the corner of Telegraph and Ford Road. And it's called a Botana. Kind of like nachos, but not nachos. It's different. The vegetables that'll go on top won't be cooked. They'll be fresh. And that being said, I suggest you leave your tomatoes and your green peppers on the counter for a few hours when you make this because you don't want them cold. So let's get on a few ingredients and I'll run you through them, what we got. And definitely some beans, and beans are B for boring. So I'm gonna kick these up a notch here and show you what I'm gonna do with these to make these taste a lot better. An avocado, I got some tomatoes, some onions, and I'll chop all this up and show you what it looks like afterwards. And then a green pepper, and then we're gonna get out of the refrigerator here a couple of items. There's this Oaxaca, or however you pronounce it, cheese. This is a Mexican melting cheese. This melts really well. We'll shred this and then we'll use that. And then this is gonna be the beans right here. This is called pork chorizo. It's kind of salty, spicy. If you're one of these people, like a vegetarian or something, I've actually seen in the store they had this in soy chorizo. But if you want to use it, use it. I wouldn't go any route. If you have to, use it in your beans, because this is how we're going to flavor the beans, but I'm using pork. Then also some Spanish olives. So I'll arrange these ingredients and I'm going to run you back through them again. Oh, chips. I got some store-bought chips here that they make. I suggest you buy your own corn tortillas, slice them in 4, and then fry them in oil till they're crisp. This works a lot better like that. They're a lot more hearty, they hold up better. But I had these left over in the cabinet and I wanted to use them. So actually that's why I'm making this, because I didn't want these to go to waste. All right, so here's a quick run through the ingredients again. Some corn chips, tomatoes, onion, green pepper, some pork chorizo or soy chorizo if you're a vegetarian, avocado, some good Mexican melting cheese, some Spanish olives, and some refried beans. Okay, I got these ingredients chopped up and ready, and if you come on down here and take a look, I'll show you what I've done. I got the green pepper chopped up, I guess. These are kind of big chunks. You want them big like that. Again, I'm gonna stress, make sure your vegetables are room temperature. We're not gonna cook these. And then we got the tomatoes. I removed a lot of the seeds and the moisture out of them. It's a good idea so it doesn't sog your chips up. I got the avocado sliced up. I've got the onions. This is gonna go on top. But I've also got some diced onions that you'll see for the beans in a minute as we cook them. And that's pretty much the ingredients are ready to go. I'm gonna put the chorizo in the pan. I'm gonna brown this chorizo up. And then we're gonna put the onions in the chorizo, what I call it grease that's left when it's done. So I'll brown this up and then we're gonna just put it off to the side in a plate, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what we do after. All right, I've been cooking this for about 5 minutes. It's done. I'm gonna pull it off. And like I say, I'm not gonna clean this pan, and I'm gonna put the diced onions in there. About two tablespoons of diced onions. So put your onions in there, and then we're gonna saute these up till they're translucent. Got these onions where I want them now. I have this chorizo, and you're not gonna use all this. Just use half of this. And put the other half in. It's good over eggs or other things you want to use on, because the whole tube would just be way too strong. So I'm going to put half this back in, and then I'm going to put the other half in the refrigerator and use it later. So put the chorizo back in, and then I'm going to add my beans. Now, beans are naturally thick. So we may have to thin this out with a little bit of water as this goes on, which I usually do. We'll find out with this particular can, but put your beans in. Try to get it all out of there. And just start mixing this together. And you can see how thick it is. This would be extremely hard to put over the chips. You don't want that. You couldn't smear it and end up breaking the chips. So like I said, don't be afraid to add just a little bit of water as this is cooking. And you just judge that. That was probably about 2 tablespoons there. You can see it starting to cream them up a little bit, so they'll be a little bit easier to spread. I'm going to put even a little bit more in, so that might be about 3 tablespoons. And don't worry about it. If it gets too thin, if you just cook it down a little bit, it'll evaporate off, and then it'll get to where you can use it. So I'm going to keep mixing this. And they're about, I would like them just a little bit thinner. Here again, I'm going to add just a little bit of water. I'm going to keep stirring. That's just about perfect. So I'm going to cut the fire off on this. I'm going to put it off to the side while I assemble my chips, and we're going to shred the cheese and come back and show you how this is put together. Alright, let's put this thing together. I'm going to use an iron skillet. You can use a baking tray, do whatever you want. And of course, if you want to expand this and make it go bigger for everybody, just double the ingredients, do whatever. Let's just put some chips in the pan. Get them settled up. And then we're going to go ahead and put down the seasoned beans that we made earlier. All right, and then once you get these down, and then next comes the Oaxaca, or commonly known as Oaxaca cheese. Just kind of spread it around, get it all around on there. And we're gonna go ahead and put down the cheese. And we're gonna go ahead and broil this. Actually, on broil until it's cooked and nice and golden. Well, we'll show you what that looks like. We're gonna slide it under the broiler. And then we'll build this thing. Slide it under the broiler. Keep a good eye on it, don't burn it. And we'll be back. And we're gonna dress it. And this is pretty easy stuff. It's going to be really pretty when it's done. Put some onion on it. Feel free to slide this back under the broiler and soften some of these vegetables up. That's perfectly acceptable, but we like them really fresh. Put some olives on there. And then obviously the avocado. And then if you would like some salsa on this as you eat it, please be my guest. There you go. A Mexican Botana. Enjoy.